You're doing the work. You've cleaned up your plate, you're moving more, you might even be tracking meals, and yet the scale barely moves and the midsection feels stickier than it used to. If you're over 40, that frustration is familiar to a lot of women. And it's not about willpower, it's biology. Hormones shift, muscle slowly declines, stress accumulates, and sleep fragments. All of those changes alter how your body stores and burns energy. Today I'm going to explain clearly and practically why fat loss becomes more challenging after 40, what's actually happening inside your body, and what honest, sustainable steps help you get results without extreme diets or punishing workouts. Let's start with the hormone picture because that's the backbone of everything else. Estrogen plays a huge role in where you store fat and how your body uses glucose. When estrogen declines in perimenopause and menopause, fat distribution shifts toward the belly. That visceral fat around your organs is hormonally active and harder to lose than the fat you carried in your 20s. Estrogen also supports insulin sensitivity, so when it falls, your blood sugar becomes more sensitive to spikes and drops. Those glucose swings increase hunger and cravings and make it easier to store fat. Progesterone is often overlooked, but it matters for sleep and recovery. Progesterone acts like a calming signal in the brain and supports restful sleep. When progesterone decreases, sleep quality suffers and anxiety can rise, both of which make appetite control more difficult and recovery from exercise less effective. Less recovery equals less muscle building and a slower metabolic rate. Testosterone is commonly thought of as a male hormone, but it's important for women too. It helps preserve and build lean muscle mass, supports libido and motivation, and assists with metabolic rate. As women age, average testosterone declines. Less testosterone means a reduced capacity to build and maintain muscle. Since muscle is one of the biggest drivers of resting calorie burn, losing lean mass lowers your baseline energy needs and makes fat loss slower. The thyroid controls metabolic pace. Subtle shifts in thyroid function become more common with age. Even a mildly underperforming thyroid lowers your resting metabolic rate. That can make the same calorie intake lead to slower weight loss or even weight gain. It's worth screening if progress stalls despite consistent, sensible changes to diet and activity. Cortisol is the stress hormone, and it loves to hijack midlife results. Chronic stress raises cortisol, and that pushes the body into a storage mode, especially visceral fat. It also increases cravings for calories that digest quickly, like sweets and refined carbs. When cortisol runs high in the evening, sleep suffers, and the cycle feeds into itself. Poor sleep raises cortisol, and higher cortisol ruins attempts to create healthy habits. Then there are insulin and leptin, which work together to regulate energy and appetite. Insulin tells your cells to take up glucose, and when cells become less responsive to insulin, the pancreas produces more of it. Higher insulin means more fat storage and, honestly, more hunger. Leptin is the hormone released by fat that signals fullness. With age and with chronic overeating or yo-yo dieting, leptin signaling can become blunted. Your brain hears the fullness signal less clearly, so you feel hungry even when your body has adequate energy stores. These hormone changes explain why the same strategies that worked in your 20s, cutting calories aggressively and doing lots of cardio, often backfire in midlife. Severe calorie restriction can send your body into an energy-conserving state, lowering thyroid function and reducing lean mass. Cardio without strength training can increase calorie burn briefly, but it won't protect the muscle that sustains your metabolism long-term. Skipping sleep or tolerating chronic stress will sabotage nearly every effort to lose fat. So what do you test to know what you're working with? Start with a thoughtful check-in with your clinician. Thyroid function should be evaluated with more than just a TSH when symptoms suggest trouble. Free T4 and free T3 can be revealing. Measure fasting glucose and hemoglobin. A1C to assess blood sugar regulation, and consider fasting insulin if insulin resistance is suspected. Basic nutrient panels for vitamin D, ferritin, which is your iron stores, and B12 are helpful because deficiencies in these can drain energy and impair recovery. When indicated, a sex hormone panel timed to your cycle or guided by a hormone-literate provider can clarify estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, DHEAS, and SHBG. Cortisol patterns can be complex, but in certain cases, Testing multiple times a day can help assess dysregulation. These tests give you specifics instead of guessing and let your provider tailor a plan. Now let's talk about the practical, evidence-based strategies that truly move the needle. The most important change is prioritizing strength training. 2 to 4 sessions per week that focus on compound movements like squats, deadlifts, or hip hinges, rows, and presses helps you preserve and build lean mass. Progressive overload, even if it's only adding a few pounds or a few extra reps over weeks, signals the body to invest in muscle and increases resting energy expenditure. Strength training also improves insulin sensitivity, which reduces fat storage. Protein matters. Aim for a substantial portion of protein at each meal. A useful target for many women is around 25 to 35 grams of protein per meal, though exact needs depend on body size and activity. Protein stabilizes blood sugar, promotes fullness, and supplies the amino acids needed to repair and rebuild muscle. Starting the day with protein can blunt mid-morning cravings and gives a stable foundation for energy. Stabilizing blood sugar is another cornerstone. Pair carbohydrates with protein, fiber, and healthy fats so that glucose rises more slowly and falls less dramatically. Choose high-quality, fiber-rich carbohydrate sources such as vegetables, legumes, whole grains, and fruit rather than sugar-laden processed foods. Timing carbohydrates around workouts helps your body use them to refill muscles that were stressed during exercise rather than storing them as fat. Sleep and stress management cannot be an afterthought. Consistent restorative sleep is when recovery happens, hormones reset, and appetite hormones rebalance. Aim for 7 to 9 hours each night and, build a calm, technology-free wind-down. Short daily stress management practices, deep breathing, a short walk outdoors, or even a 5-minute mindfulness break lower cortisol over time and protect your metabolic progress. Move smart, not just hard. Zone 2 cardio, which means easy, conversational-paced movement such as brisk walking, light cycling, or steady rowing, supports mitochondrial function and metabolic health without spiking stress hormones. Non-exercise activity thermogenesis, simple increases in daily movement like standing, taking stairs, and frequent short walks, adds up to meaningful calorie burn without the stress of more intense training. When it comes to nutrition strategy, aim for a modest and sustainable calorie deficit. A daily deficit of 200 to 500 calories is a reasonable place to start for many people. It supports steady fat loss without triggering extreme metabolic adaptation. Extreme restriction tends to slow metabolism and increase the chance of rebound weight gain. Prioritize nutrient density, vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats, and whole food carbohydrates, while limiting ultra-processed foods and added sugars that feed inflammation and insulin resistance. Certain supplements and medical supports can be useful when appropriate. Correct clinically confirmed deficiencies in vitamin D, iron, or vitamin B12, and consider omega-3 fatty acids for their anti-inflammatory effects. Magnesium can help with sleep and recovery. Hormone replacement therapy is an option that some women choose, and for select candidates, it can improve body composition and energy. But it must be discussed with a hormone-literate clinician to weigh benefits and risks. In cases of true insulin resistance or metabolic disease, medications like metformin are clinical tools that can be used as part of a comprehensive plan. So, be realistic about timelines. Strength improvements are often noticeable within 4 to 8 weeks, and measurable body composition changes commonly appear between 8 and 12 weeks with consistent training and nutrition. Sustainable fat loss is typically slow. Aiming for roughly a half to 1 pound per week is reasonable for many people. And remember, track your success by more than just the scale. Notice how your clothes fit, whether your energy and sleep improve, and whether you are lifting heavier or completing more reps over time. Finally, mindset really matters. This chapter of life requires curiosity rather than blame. Treat your body like a partner with changing needs. Try to focus on daily habits, sleep, protein, movement, instead of obsessing about a single number. Celebrate those non-scale victories like better sleep, more energy, improved mood, and strength gains. Permit yourself to iterate. What worked at 25 might not fit now, and honestly, that's okay. Midlife is an opportunity to refine your approach so it supports the life you want to live. If you want a place to begin, try a practical 1-week starter plan that's gentle and, realistic. Start with a protein-forward breakfast and just one strength session this week. Add 2 to 3 days of walks, totaling about 30 to 45 minutes. Swap a sugary snack for a vegetable and some protein. Prioritize sleep with a consistent bedtime and a short pre-sleep routine, and include 2 short daily stress resets, like simple breathing, a short walk, or even 5 minutes of journaling. Track how you feel and honestly adjust the next week as needed. If you've followed a hormone-aware plan consistently for 3 months and still see no improvement, or if you experience rapid weight gain, extreme fatigue, irregular cycles, or other worrying signs, it's time to get evaluated by a hormone-literate provider or endocrinologist. Underlying medical issues sometimes need targeted treatment. You are not failing. Your body is changing, and once you work with those changes by prioritizing strength, protein, sleep, stress reduction, and measured nutrition, progress is possible and honestly sustainable. If this video helped you, please like, share, and subscribe for more science-based strategies for women over 40. At Leap 2, Better Health, we help women 40 and up reconnect with their bodies and redefine wellness in a way that's real, sustainable, and rooted in science. Book your free consultation today, and we will help you build a personalized wellness roadmap. Share this episode with a friend who needs to hear this message, and leave a comment with one small change you'll try this week. I read your comments, and honestly, I want to cheer you on. Thank you for watching.